All right, let's turn to other news.
The man accused of going on a stabbing spree in Davis is scheduled to appear in a Yolo County courtroom later this morning.
A court-appointed doctor found 21-year-old Carlos Dominguez not competent to stand trial last month. He's charged with 2 counts of murder and attempted murder. ABC 10's Bridget Biorlo has been following this story since April. She's live from outside the courthouse in Woodland. So, Bridget, he pled guilty in front of the judge. Where does this case go from here?
It's going to get interesting, Walt, as it heads to a pre-trial conference later this morning. The case is far from over, but the victims' families will have to wait longer for justice in this case of the accused Davis stabber. The defendant last month in court appeared to admit his guilt to the crimes. Take a listen.
I want to apologize, and I want to say I'm guilty and forgive me.
Hold on, sir, you have a Fifth Amendment right.
So as you heard there, the 21-year-old told the judge he's guilty. He went on to say, please forgive me. You'd think the case would be over from there, but it's not. This will not be considered in court, I'm told, because he's been declared incompetent by a court-appointed doctor. Now, prosecutors have the chance to challenge that doctor's conclusion and put on evidence at what's called a competency trial. That's where the jury will have the final say over his mental fitness. And though this will certainly delay the case, legal experts say it's by no means a victory for the defense.
In a case like this, the defense obviously can't do anything if the defendant is not competent. So it's not necessarily a win, but what it does is it delays it. And often justice delayed like this is to the benefit of the defendant. Someone's arrested, the community's upset, the victims are really clamoring for justice. Understandably, everyone is clamoring for justice, understandably. But if this case gets delayed, a year, 2, 3 years or so, generally helps the defendant out because we lose our motivation to seek revenge, to seek retribution for this crime.
So later this month, a jury will be presented with evidence from both sides, the defense and the state, and they will have the ultimate determination over the mental status of Carlos Dominguez. And keep in mind, well, they're going to be hearing about things that the doctor did not consider, things like jail logs, phone calls he made behind bars where he's been for several months. Also, expect prosecutors to point out that he was a UC Davis student leading up to these stabbings, a third-year student studying biological sciences. So prosecutors are expected to raise the question in court before this jury: how was this student competent enough to go to class and perform at a really good school, and now a few months later all of a sudden be incompetent to stand trial? So a lot to consider for the jury. Walt?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that about him being a student, because he had been kicked out of school several days prior to the first murder. So something could have been going on with him that led for him to have been kicked out of school academically and continue on this awful path he was on. What happens now, Bridget, if the jury finds him incompetent?
So if the jury supports what the doctor found, Walt, it's going to get interesting from there in terms of timeline. I'm told he will then be sent to a mental health facility, getting treatment, counseling, medicine, and so forth. And the goal being is to restore him back to competency to the point where he can stand trial in his criminal case. It's very rare for that to be bypassed altogether. So they want to get him back in the courtroom. It's just a matter of time, could take months, or even, as you heard from that defense attorney there, could take a couple years. Walt?
Yeah, indeed. This may go on for 2-3 more years. All right, thank you. That's Bridget Biorlo, who is live in Woodland today.